Ferrando Domestic Workers Alliance is the initiative of the Missionary Sisters of Mary Help of Christians, MSMHC, with the objective of promoting and realizing the rights, dignity and solidarity of the domestic workers in Northeast India. The project is implemented through the Social Development Office of the congregation. Center for Development Initiatives, CDI Guwahati, having its regional offices at Shillong, Tinsukia, Lunpuria, Tezpur, Udalguri. It is supported by BMZ and Don Bosco Mondo, Germany. The overall goal and objective of the project is sustainable improvements of the living and working situation of domestic workers who are mostly women and girls vulnerable to all kinds of exploitation.
Pila tu mukhan domestic worker bra eko kam nakuri gina thakise libi domestic worker bra mukhan help bisi paise.
Last 3 years what I have seen जो डोमेस्टिक वर्कर्स असम का इन गुवाहाटी सिटी वो लोग पहले अपने आप को शर्म करते थे कि हाँ हम लोग एक घरेलू काम करने वाले महिला है और जैसे कि ये डोमेस्टिक वर्कर्स का जो संस्था है वो डोमेस्टिक वर्कर्स के लिए बहुत अवेयरनेस क्रिएट किया है तो उसी अवेयरनेस के को पाने के बाद वो लोग बहुत आगे बढ़ चुके हैं अभी वो लोग डोमेस्टिक वर्कर्स ऐसा बोलते हैं कि हम लोग भी उन लोग का साथ एक बराबर है जो ऑफिस में जाता है या हम लोग घर में काम करते हैं वो लोग बराबर के हैं तो ये उन लोग को जो फेरांडो डोमेस्टिक वर्कर्स अलायंस से जो मिला है FDWA से इसके लिए बहुत उन लोग का सुविधा हुआ है और बहुत अच्छा हुआ है.
From the time this project have been introduced, we found that we were able to go to many other places where the domestic workers are not yet been identified. So we managed to go in and out of the city where we were not able to reach out earlier. So many domestic workers turned up and then we were able to help out many domestic workers who are really in need of our support and our help.
The national estimate for 2004 and 2005 suggests that 4.75 million workers were employed by private households, of which 3.05 million were urban women, making domestic work as the largest female occupation in urban India. Some reports say that the number of domestic workers in India may be up to 40 to 50 million. There are about 375,000 domestic workers in Assam alone. Northeast has a large number of women and young girls enrolled in domestic work, yet unrecognized and a decent status denied to them.
Many officers and the rich people are begin to keep a helper or domestic workers, but they are not given entitlement that they ought to have.
I work as a domestic work in Shillong for quite many years, I think almost 20 years. I came across for regarding to money I did not have, but regarding to the food I used to have. They will be cooking by ourselves many good things, but during eating time they will not provide us what we cook. So in that way, we used to feel very much hurt. Even though we are working domestic work, not because of the poor, but we want to work for our living and we want to earn to support to ourselves. So in that way, when they provide us such kind of food, we feel very hurt. Even though we are domestic workers, we are never eating that kind of food at home.
For about 16 years, I have been work as a domestic workers. When we go for a work full time, we cannot get also a rest. but we cannot get that equal pay for that equal work that we work also.
আমাৰো তেনেকা মানে ডমেষ্টিক মানে আমি কাম কৰো হয় কিন্তু আমিও মানে যেনেকা আপোনালোকে অফিসত চাকৰি কৰি ঠিক তেনেকা আমিও মানুহ ঘৰত চাকৰি কৰা নিচিনাই হয় আমাৰো মানে আমাকো সানডেটো ছুটি লাগে আৰু বাচ্চাহঁতৰ স্কুল ছুটি থাকে সিহঁতৰ কাপোৰ কানি বিলাক ধুব লাগে হেনেকা সিহঁতৰ লগত থাকিব লাগে আমিও সপ্তাহত একদিন আপোনালোকৰ যেনেকা সানডে ছুটি আমাকো ছুটি লাগে সেইবোৰ আমাৰ মিটিংত মানে সাপোৰ্ট পাওঁ আৰু সবৰ পৰা হেনেকা ল'ব লাগে তেনেকা কিছুমানে দিব নিবিচাৰে তথাপি আমি লওঁ আৰু সানডেটো ছুটি
maternity leave that each and every woman should get after delivery of a child. When I delivered my baby, soon after 3 days of my delivery, I have to join my duty because when I will not join, then my employer will hire somebody else. So for fear of losing my job, I left my baby at home with my health was also not very okay. I was very weak, but then for fear of losing my job, I joined my duty soon after 3 days of delivery.
Domestic helpers should also be given a right to live with dignity, and this dignity is attained through their committed service by helping a family who is in need of your help.
They are often called maids, servants, kitchen girls, and ayahs. It is high time to ratify ILO Convention 189. Decent work for domestic workers so that their work is recognized, they are paid a decent wage, and are treated as workers with respect.
Our state Manipur, not only the domestic workers minimum wage alone, even the laborers wage, because of the problem is that we are more saturated in the rural areas. Where rural areas wages are not considered, we are more of a share work rather than really pay wage. And most of them, these domestic workers are siblings or their relations. They come to work, either give and take is not measured, either accounted. So it is give and take rather. Because of this trend, this thought and this behavior, government is find difficult to fix. And secondly, this recent trend only to keeping a domestic worker strictly in the cities, in the urban areas, where rural people come and stay according to family condition, economic condition, or some other problems, and mostly it be contributed by the ethnic conflict.
I think they should come under the Minimum Wages Act. They should be, in the state government, the labor department is looking after it, and I think they should also be recognized at par with other workers because when you talk about gender budgeting, gender rights, and all that, there are women who are saying that their work at home is regarded as unpaid work, and they are not recognized. And when we employ domestic workers, again these domestic workers are not recognized. So I think it's high time that we recognize them. Once we recognize them, I think it will become much more easier for an employer as well as for the employee, because we will come under an organized sector. And I think an organization like this should take up this venture, and government departments should partner with your organization to uplift the status of these workers.
One of the challenges that we face in Manipur is that the government is not cooperating with the organization, and still the domestic workers are yet to be scheduled. So because of that, the fixation of the minimum wages in Manipur is in a vague. And the neighboring state had all fixed the minimum wages for the domestic workers, and Manipur is yet to fix.
I think the state is under an obligation also to at least look into the issue of domestic helpers, as they have been providing all the unskilled work, but at least of course of a very valuable nature. So their plight and the needs should be looked into by the state, and there should be a proper guidelines or policy frame in this regard to come up with how to deal with the wages they need to get under this act. It is high time that the state also need to have a thorough study of the issue, specifically regarding the domestic helpers, and come up with their fair wage as per the international convention and also as per the domestic law, as I have cited with regard to the Minimum Wages Act.
I think Nagaland government has to be more realistic in making, even giving assurances to issues. Because even during your program, we heard the minister in his own words for social welfare, saying that Nagaland government will also do its part and has been extending kind of support and appreciation. But in reality, they have not done anything. This is something very regrettable. So I think this kind of attitude has to stop, and government of Nagaland or any government should become more realistic. They must live on their words.
We can't really compare the construction workers, the work they do, and the work that domestic workers perform. So now we are on a move in demanding from the government a separate schedule of for the domestic workers, and wages also should be fixed according to the work that they perform in the employer's house.
The various states have been very cooperative with us. We have been working very hard in the field of advocacy and lobbying, trying to include the domestic workers into minimum wage schedule and also their fixation of their wages. Assam had been very successful in this regard, and other states are falling in line.
The project specifically aims at organizing the domestic workers into union so that their voice is heard and they become empowered to argue for their rights. In the process, it also works towards inclusion of the domestic workers into social security system so that their economic condition can be improved and their livelihood be sustained.
FDWA has been really doing so well so far in organizing the domestic workers here in Shillong. I can see lots of activities has been conducted for spreading the awareness for the rights of domestic workers, and at the same time to negotiate with the Labour Department, to negotiate with the other stakeholders in the society to spread the awareness regarding the rights of the domestic workers.
I've been working with the domestic workers for the last 3 years. At the beginning, it was very difficult to take up, and then slowly we began to survey, we went for identification. Then slowly it has come up to, within a year we have identified 200, then the next year 300, and now it has come up to 500. We have registered 500 domestic workers. Then identification, it's around 700 to 800. We organize a program for the employers in different colonies. Then we go to house, we talk to the employers about the domestic rights. Then after that, we talk to the domestic workers. That is how we organize awareness program.
I Karam Rupa Kawi Agiming. I say domestic worker member Amani. I Hana Yao Dringay Didi. Yamwa na ay lairami. Ay muk ason balaite hen warami. Hujiti ay wakal yam nungay. Aduna nga sisu yam nungay haibadi. Meeting laye sister ko laye haiduna ay nga sisu suti lauraga. Ay siguma meeting da yaurui.
Azali ro kuze. Aro domestic worker. She aro wuri mikinu mikri matsasa shibore. Ngovie fego minisa. She go more Jim. The him cook across her. She Mukiji like your sister. No, Vicky Trosa, she did zero near the creeping her. She zero making the creeping her. Domestic worker noodler, Liza, Jiri, Zunit, Hakakai Shilene, Tazakakai Shile. She can Jiri video do him or she's
ꯑꯩꯅ ꯊꯕꯛ ꯁꯨꯕꯁꯤ ꯑꯍꯥꯟꯕ ꯍꯧꯔꯛꯄꯗꯗꯤ ꯇꯣꯂꯣꯞꯁꯤ ꯌꯥꯝ ꯄꯤꯛꯑꯝꯃꯤ 2,200ꯃꯨꯛ ꯐꯪꯉꯝꯃꯦ ꯍꯥꯟꯅ ꯌꯥꯝ ꯊꯕꯛꯁꯤ ꯌꯥꯝꯅꯗꯤ ꯁꯨꯔꯒ ꯍꯧꯖꯤꯛꯇꯤ ꯑꯩ ꯃꯐꯝ ꯑꯅꯤꯗ ꯁꯨꯏ ꯍꯧꯖꯤꯛꯇꯤ ꯊꯕꯛꯁꯤ ꯌꯨꯝꯕꯨꯗꯨꯅ ꯁꯨꯝ ꯑꯩꯈꯣꯏꯒꯤ ꯀꯩꯅꯣꯁꯤ ꯈꯪꯉꯛꯑꯕꯅꯤꯅ ꯃꯥꯅ ꯊꯥꯒꯤ ꯇꯣꯂꯣꯞꯁꯤ ꯈꯔ ꯍꯦꯟꯒꯠꯄꯤꯔꯦꯕ ꯍꯥꯟꯅ ꯄꯤꯔꯝꯕ ꯆꯥꯡꯗꯒꯤ ꯍꯥꯟꯅ 2,200 पीरम्बसे हौजी 2,400 यौरे
पहले के समय में महीने में 1,500 देते थे, लेकिन अभी तो 2000, 2500 ऐसा दे रहे। ये सब आज डोमेस्टिक वर्कर के चलते हो चुका है, इसलिए हम सब डोमेस्टिक वर्कर के तरफ से आप लोग को धन्यवाद देते हैं।
In a very extensive manner, it also creates awareness among the domestic workers as well as in the public sector through campaigns, lobbying, and advocacy.
I participated in the Domestic Workers Week, which was held in St. Joseph College, Jakama in the year 2016. And this year, in 2017, we had the same Domestic Workers Week in Christ King, Kohima. I participated. And I was happy to be part of that movement, wherein which we could listen to the voices of the domestic workers, who some of them they literally cried, telling that the abuses and the treatment they experience in the families. We took our college students, and they also their eyes were open, or they were made aware of the realities. So as a movement, I think it is bearing a lot of fruit, and in the coming years, surely the government will listen to them. And I also see that this group, they form groups of domestic workers, they train them, and they teach them skills, and also they give them placement.
Yeah, from what I've heard when we had the program in Jakama, and the way the domestic workers themselves asserted their problem and their aspirations, it is very appreciable that they themselves know who they are, and they are also realizing that they have the rights to have their own rights being recognized by the society and also different agencies.
The challenges that we have in the city today is the society is very, so to say, very difficult. There are so many domestic workers who finds no security, and one thing is that many of the domestic workers are the migrants, and that we were not able to get the proper documents for them. But since they have been staying here for many years, and through the struggles that we have through this project, that we have been able to enroll them in the for many documents that they required, and they are recognized in the society. Secondly, the challenges that we have is that in today's society, there are a lot of trafficking cases, rape cases, domestic violence is on the increase. And through this project, so to say, that we are able to go about and save many people's life. Because of the Ferrando Domestic Workers Alliance, which we are implementing, I must say that we are very much recognized in the society. 2-3 days ago, I have received a letter from the DC himself nominating me to be the non-official member representing all the disadvantaged group. It's only because that they have recognized the work which we have been doing through this project.
I had been with this project since I was with the social work, and we work together, and it's very much, I've been with them, and it is very much effective, I see so far. In Manipur, being I say very close to the border, so it be more awareness level is needed. We have got 2 groups or 3 groups, so to say, of children, people. One is just rural uneducated people. Second is semi-dropped outs, and third well-educated. Both needs orientation. In whatever they are, they should know what they are supposed to do, what they are supposed to get. So as this agency can very much do in giving awareness and prepare them and orient them, so that whichever placement or whoever house they work, they should be able to deliver good service at a standard to get a denomination as according to their performance and the work. So I feel awareness and orientation is one of the most important things that should continue to insist in a state like Manipur.
The project Formation of Domestic Workers Union Structures is being implemented in 12 cities: Guwahati, Shillong, Tura, Aizawl, Agartala, Tezpur, Bongaigaon, Barpeta, Tinsukia, Sarupathar, Kohima and Imphal of Northeast India, covering 6 states, namely Assam, Meghalaya, Tripura, Mizoram, Nagaland and Manipur.
I'm Cecil Rose Paite, the project manager of the project Formation of Domestic Workers Union Structures in 6 states of Northeast India. being implemented in 12 cities. The project aims at organizing 32,000 domestic workers across Northeast. As of now, we are able to organize about 12,000 domestic workers. 9,500 are being registered into our society. The domestic workers have been formed into 650 groups as of now. Earlier, domestic workers themselves do not want to be called domestic workers. They were trying to hide their identity and their status in the society. Today, many of them are not ashamed of their work anymore. They start to recognize that their work is work and they are workers. And they confidently can tell the employers that I'm your worker and give me my right, give me my due and what I deserve.
Some of the highlights of the activities are identification of domestic workers and registration and organization into groups, gathering of children of domestic workers into Ferrando Children Club, crisis intervention mechanism, information of domestic workers about unions and establishment of union structures, training of domestic workers in various topics in the realm of group formation and other events, informational campaign and direct intervention in the sphere of human trafficking, awareness raising, advocacy and lobbying, networking with relevant stakeholders who are important for domestic workers, training for the project staff.
I've been always looking for someone who has some amount of reliability and some amount of discipline. So when I approached you to help me out, and the girl which I got from your center, that is the Ferrando Domestic Workers Alliance, I can say as of now that I am really satisfied and I feel that I have got what I have been looking for.
I would say she's very different from the domestic helpers that I have been associated with, because she is very dignified, she respects her workplace, and moreover she had this respect for her work, which is very rare.
What I found her, why I trust, when the whole family we trust on her also, is because of her dedication to work. That is the main thing. Her sincerity, her hard work, her dedication. So these are the things that Marilyn continue her work with us.
One word, I think, sincerity. Sincere will be. Because though she is a domestic worker, she is not educated. But she is very much focused on her son's education. She has put her son in an English medium school, which is very rare in her community, in her group. She is very focused that her son should work, learn properly, study properly, and she is working very hard for that.
I will always remain grateful to Don Bosco Mondo, who had been my help and support since 2008. It is because of their support that we are able to work and help millions of women, girls and children, especially the most vulnerable ones. I will always remain grateful to them.